Hey you, I am speaking to you from a timeline where you actually did it. The one timeline where you stopped shrinking, stopped apologizing, and finally became who you knew you were the whole time. I made it, and you made it. You need to hear what I'm going to say today, because right now you're standing at the fork in the road. Right now you are living in what I call the almost life. Almost ready, almost healed, almost done, almost leaving, almost starting. But you keep saying, when I'm ready, when the money comes, when I get a sign. But from where I stand, I can see it very, very clearly. You're not waiting on a sign. You actually are the sign. You've done so much work on yourself that you could actually teach a class. Okay, you could probably write a course on life right at this point. And yet you still talk to yourself like you're the weakest person in the room. You know the red flags. You feel when the energy shifts. But you keep giving chances to situations that have already proven that they will not change. I know you're tired. Tired of starting over. Tired of believing and being disappointed. Tired of being the strong one. You think making a big choice will drain you. But staying where you are right now is what's killing your spirit. In my timeline, the one where you are finally free, something specific happens. It wasn't a full moon. It wasn't a perfect alignment. It was a moment. A moment when pretending hurt more than telling the truth. You were sitting there like you've been so many times before, feeling that knot in your chest, that ache in your gut. And instead of pushing it down, you finally said to yourself, I can't do this to myself anymore. That sentence was a crack in the old reality. You didn't get here by being fearless. You got here by being honest. The 3 decisions that changed everything. From this future, I can tell you that there were 3 decisions that made you change everything. The first one was no more half-truths. You stopped living on these half-truths. You stopped pretending that you were fine when you were quietly crumbling. You stopped saying, it's not that bad, I was actually draining the life out of you. You allowed yourself to say, it's not okay with me. You admitted when you were hurt, you admitted when you were angry, and you admitted when your soul, you as a soul, was screaming no while your mouth kept saying, it's okay, it's all right. The day you stopped gaslighting yourself was the day your reality could finally become honest too. Second decision that you made, the sacred practice. So you gave yourself this little practice, not a 2-hour ritual, not a complicated routine, 10 minutes. 10 minutes a day where you stop scrolling, you stop asking everyone else what they saw for you, stop checking, and you sat with your own energy. You might have just closed your eyes, put your hand on your heart and breathed, but in those 10 minutes, you told the universe and your own soul, I am finally listening. At first it felt awkward. You expected lightning bolts and angels and choirs. Instead it was just you and a lot of feelings. But you stayed, and slowly the noise started to fade away. Your anxiety started to separate from your intuition. And your fear started to separate from your knowing. And your life began to rearrange itself around that simple daily choice. The third decision you made was a different question. You changed the question that you were asking. You used to ask, what if I fail? What if I get hurt again? What if I'm wrong? And that kept you stuck rehearsing every worst case scenario in your mind. One day you ask this different question. What if I actually am who I've always felt I am? What if I'm not delusional? What if I'm not too much? What if I'm not asking for too many miracles? What if my sensitivity is proof of my power, not evidence of my weakness? That one question started to change your posture, your voice, your decisions. You stopped trying to be reasonable, and you were doing this to people who hadn't been reasonable to you a day in their life. You stopped asking for permission to actually become yourself. So let me be clear. From here I can see what's hunting you. The relationship that you keep fixing, it's not interested in healing. The job that feeds your bills but starves your spirit. The version of you that's always caretaking everyone else's emotions while abandoning your own. In my timeline, you walked away from what was killing your light, even while your voice was shaking. You left the room, you blocked the number, you turned down the offer, you said no to what you used to say yes to just to keep the peace. You chose peace within over the peace on the surface, and you didn't become cold, you just became clear, direct, true. So let's do something right now. Wherever you are, if it's safe to do so, put your hand on your chest. Take a slow breath in your nose and exhale out your mouth like you're done apologizing. Again, inhale and exhale like you're releasing every version of you that stayed small. And repeat after me if you can. If not, do it in your mind. I choose the timeline where I stop negotiating my own power. I choose the life where I am no longer loyal to my suffering. I choose the version of me that I came here to be, not the one the world tried to train me into. So that feeling that you notice right now, the tightness, the emotion, the calm, the resistance, that's the doorway. You just spoke from a version of you that I am standing over right now. And what the future looks like here, let me tell you something about it from my vantage point. You didn't lose yourself forever. You didn't waste your whole life. Every delay, every detour, every heartbreak, you used it. And you used it for your benefit. I'm watching you waking up one morning and realizing that you don't feel the constant dread in your chest anymore. The anxiety of what's going to be today. What do I have to deal with today? Oh, I'm going to have this massive appointment. Oh, it's going to be like this and it's going to be like that. And I haven't got the money and it's not coming and I'm doing the work. You answer messages when you actually have energy instead of out of obligation. You stop over-explaining your no. It simply means no. You create things, words, art, decisions, boundaries that feel like oxygen to other people because they come from a place of truth inside of you. People from your past don't even recognize you, not because you've become somebody else, but because you finally stop pretending to be the dimmed down, watered down version that they're comfortable with. The one that they can easily manipulate and walk all over and dump you whenever they feel like it. There's laughter again. Not the polite kind, the real kind. You catch yourself in the mirror and sometimes you think, oh my God, there you are. Look at you. I missed you. The moment of choice. Now listen carefully. This future is not guaranteed. Not because you're unworthy, not because you're cursed, but because every future is built on choices. From here I can see two possibilities. In one, you hear this, you get chills, you say, wow, that really resonated, and you go back to your usual patterns. You keep betraying yourself a little bit each day, and in a year you're stuck and you're even more tired. Another year older. In the other, you let this message cost you something. You let it cost you an old story, an old role, an old excuse. You make one decision today that your old self would never allow. You don't need to change your whole life by midnight. You just need to stop lying to yourself about what you already know. So here's my challenge to you from your future self. Before the end of today, do one thing that aligns with who you are and what you want to become, and conflicts with the version of you that keeps small. Send the message, cancel the thing that you're dreading, start the project that you keep on postponing, say the boundary, or sit down for 10 minutes and listen to your own self like it actually matters. And notice what happens, not in the outside world, in your body. That tiny sense of relief, that little spark, that's me. That's your future self catching up with you. I'm not here to comfort you back to sleep. I'm here to remind you of the life that you came here to live. I'm already seeing the version of you who stopped delaying your own destiny. The only real question left in this is, are you going to join me or keep watching me from a distance? I wanted to put out a message like that here. It is so vital that as we move into this flame sovereignty, we really do start being honest with ourselves and the things that we are really holding back on. Sometimes we do this because of our upbringing and our programming of doing more and feeling responsible, and also not being able to comfortably say no, in a sense like avoiding conflict at all cost, right? But what it does is it chips away, and all of a sudden you're 10 years older, 20 years older, 30 years older, and then it becomes so much easier to say, well, I might as well just stay where I am. I've already been here for 50 years, right? So, and I see this with people in the wrong relationship because it's been for a long time that they've been together, that they're like, wow, we might as well just keep going now. And they're both miserable. Bodies are breaking down. They don't hold each other's hand. They don't smile at each other. Their laughter's gone. They don't look forward to time together. They sleep in separate rooms and they're exhausted, complaining, aching all of the time. One problem after another, trying to get the other one's attention, but it's not working. And they just live like that. And it's such a waste. It's such a waste of what you all came to do. The thing of it is that we're not here to... It's not even about being a millionaire or, you know, wow, I've really made it because I'm successful with my business or whatever. No, it's mastery. Your mastery, because I know many millionaires. I work with many, many, many of them. And over the years, there's been a common thing with them, and it's self-doubt. So even though they might have things that you be dying for, right? They're actually dying to understand the secrets of life and how to actually master things. Mastery is key. As the voice of the flame, which is exactly what you are, you need to learn to command what it is that you're looking for and trust in that being the right thing for you. Not say to yourself, oh, but if I say what I really want, everyone's going to shun me. Well, if people don't like it, if people don't support you, they're not going to support you when you're successful either. You know, they just don't support you. It doesn't actually really matter where you are in your life. If you're with a partner and they're not happy for your success, or they're not supportive of your decisions, or they're very controlling, or, you know, it's all their way or no way or whatever, right? If you're with that, what are you supposed to do? Are you sitting there trying to make it better or something because you made a decision and now you've made your bed, you've got to lay in it? Like what? I don't know what some people think, other than I can just tell you from my own experience that I used to try to fix, because I could see somebody's potential. And that's the same with all of my work, everything that I do. I always see the potential in every single soul that I work with. And that potential is what I'm talking to. That person's like greatest life is like I am cheering you on for, right? But you can't make somebody do what they don't want to do or they're not ready to do. If you're trying to get someone to understand you before you move ahead, it's wrong, it's backwards. You got to move ahead and then they might understand you, right? You can't fall in love with someone's potentials and hopefully that they'll notice their potentials as well. Loveless, pointless, exhausting. Same with me working with clients, etc. And, it doesn't always happen this way, but every single time I see someone's potential, I see what future they could have. I'm pushing them towards it. It's up to them whether they want to do it or not, whether they really want to do it, or whether they're just curious as to what someone else might think about how they get there. Maybe they're looking for the magic button or something, and there are plenty of magic buttons in the therapies and the work and the things that we do. But again, someone's got to press it. Someone's got to be ready to go. Someone's got to be like, I'm done. I'm sick of it. I don't want to do this same old thing anymore and hope for a different outcome. I don't want to keep asking the universe to supply me and bring in a manifestation, and I'm not seeing it, so I'm getting annoyed and I'm going around in circles, and then I start doing all the things I said I wasn't going to do and selling all this stuff and really getting scared and really freaking out, and then I've doubted the whole process anyway, so why did I even start it? People, if you're going to have the best life possible, the overthinking, the over-questioning, the over-worrying, the overdoing, the over-critical look at yourself all has to change. When you start to really understand that you're still going to be a work in progress, okay? So it was only a year ago that I got to the point where I was realizing where I was actually pushing up a big fat hill. You know what I'm talking about? I'm just pushing it up this big hill. I'm just wasting my energy all of the time. Not really realizing it as a negative to myself. Just like, okay, this is how I work. This is how I do things. And I was making it super hard for myself. And it was only a year ago that I sat there, went through this big problem in December last year with my husband, and we got really unwell, and we went through this virus thing. After that, we were just like, what the hell is this? We don't get sick. So this is something really that needed to come out, right? It was deep, whatever it was. And by January, I was connecting with myself. I was connecting with my future version of myself. And I said, well, what am I going to be doing then? And the message was like, well, you're going to be bringing the Soulfire codex to the world. And I'm like, what the hell's the Soulfire codex? What is this? It doesn't even, what are you talking about? It's just like, what? What is that? Bit by bit by bit by bit by bit, it started to unravel as to what this actually was. And here I thought, after all these years on camera, all these years of doing this work, all these years of helping people, I thought I was just waiting. I was just waiting for the timing to be correct and everything would unfold. And that's not how it works. You have to make the time correct. You have to make it now. You have to shake yourself up, right? Without being too hard on yourself, and say, why am I always overdoing it all of the time and then feeling frustrated that I've overdone it? Why am I always going to someone else In my case, I didn't go to anybody else, but I know that people go to other people or look or scroll at readings and this and that constantly to see if whatever they're saying is whatever you're getting. You know, whatever they're going through, hey, that resonated with me. I'm going through that shit too. Why look outside of yourself, right, for the answers from someone who hasn't even, what have they got? How have they got life together? Especially if many of them are focused on stupid things or bringing negativity into the message, or complaining live on camera, or talking negative about other people on camera, like mentioning their names and things like this, and bringing it up over and over and over and over and over again. It's one thing to bring something up as illustrating a point and that's it, you're done. But if it keeps coming up over and over and over and over again, there's something wrong with that person, right? The version of you that stopped delaying your destiny is already there. The version of you that walked away. The version of you who couldn't give a crap what anyone thought about your decisions and that you didn't need to get anybody's permission either is already successful, strong, healthier. You're not held down. You're not worried. You're not overdoing. I've seen some people who get so anxious in family situations, or people trigger them so badly that they will not sit still the entire time that they're having a visit. They have got to clean everything and do everything and keep going, and they keep going and they keep going and they keep going. By the end of the day, they're exhausted, they're angry, they're stressed, nobody noticed, nobody cared, they just expected that to happen. But they keep doing it time and time and time and time again, because the fear of not doing it and being called a name or being frowned upon or whatever is far worse than them actually being true to themselves. And if you're actually true to yourself, people get it together pretty quickly. So what you think that you're doing is by proving to people that you've got a hold of life, or that you can do it, or that you're the fixer, or you're great at it, you're responsible, while showing them that just so they won't talk about you and say, well, that one, you know, at least she cleans up. So really, what are you getting out of this? Nothing. People who don't value you, okay, don't care whether you're walking on your hands on a tightrope between the Empire State Building and another building right across, what is it, the Chrysler Building maybe? I don't know. You know what I'm saying. They wouldn't even care. They'd just go, huh, well, you know, you're wearing all the wrong clothes for that kind of stunt, aren't you? What do you think you're doing? Right? It wouldn't matter if you were a millionaire. They would still be like, well, you know, your brother, well, you know, he's doing far better than you are. Well, I think you got a little bit of catching up to do. It doesn't matter. You get your hair done. Oh, well, I don't know why you got that color or that style or what you're doing. Right? It doesn't matter what you do. Why keep trying to do it? This is the point. The point of this work is to bust out of the old systems. That includes all the abusive systems as well. Okay? That includes all of the people who drive you crazy and you're still trying to be really nice. You got to be honest with yourself too. Right? There was people that drove me crazy with this work for years, and they did it on purpose. For example, I'll tell you for an example, right? This person used to do this to me, and it would be like, they would be like, okay, let's have a call, or let's do a reading or something like this, right? And you'd go, okay, yeah, sure, no worries. And they would pay for that or whatever. And then you'd say, okay, well, what time? And they were just there, right, answering you. And suddenly, you don't know what time, and you're like, oh, what's going on? And it goes on and on and on until the next day or something, and then right in the morning, like it's still going, you still don't know when you're working, what you have to have ready for this person, anything that's going on. They haven't answered you, even though they've seen your message. They haven't answered you, so they're keeping you waiting here. And then when they're ready, they're like, oh, how's this time? I'm ready now. And you're like, well, I'm not. So it goes around and around. That is annoying for anybody, right? It's annoying for anybody to sit there and someone can't make a decision. Like, even as a professional person, you know, if you can't make a decision, I usually say, give me 3 times, let's work it out, you know. Or now I have a booking thing, so, you know, the times that I've got available are there, and so that you just choose, and we're done going back and forth, right? So it seems harmless, but the person is literally trying to drive you crazy by making you wait, and you don't know what's going on. And that's not how it works when you're being professional, right? So if I'm booking a room somewhere, I'm not going to say, okay, yeah, I want to book that room. And the person says, okay, well, what date do you want to book the room for? And there's just crickets from you. Guess what? You lose your reservation, you know. It's annoying. People that have all of these potentials in their life and they waste time playing games. What for? Where does that come from? It comes from some kind of trauma response, right? It comes from something traumatic, right? Where you don't want to hurry up into a decision or something because maybe one time you made a decision and it was wrong. I don't know. Whoever that person is, you know, wherever they are now, I don't know. But the thing of it is that in your future, okay, the strong version of you wins, okay? The version of you that was less than in order to keep everybody happy, to, you know, make sure you're not rocking the boat, that's gone. The reason why that's gone is because you've developed this confidence in yourself. So that's no longer your main thought. Other people are no longer your main concern. You're your main concern. And it's true. As you heal, you get meaner. It's true. It means that you know, people aren't expecting you to say no. People are always expecting you to be there all the time, anytime, whenever they want. There's no respect for that, right? Now you say no. Nah, don't want to do that. No, not today. Nope, another day. No need to elaborate why. I'm just not coming, or whatever. Or I am coming, and I'll be there. You know, I'll be there at 12, whatever. It's like the healed version of yourself that is tougher and stronger and confident is what you're always looking for. But guess what? All you got to do is strip away the false masks. The masks that cause you to believe that as long as you do or comply, everybody else is going to be happy with you. But guess what? They're not happy with you no matter what you do, because they're projecting all their self-hate on someone that they know is emotionally going to absorb it all and feel it all and feel bad about it. Pretty evil thing to do. They can be healed from it too if they really wanted to get out of it. Sadly, most narcissists never think it's their fault, so they're never going to get any help. So what are you doing? You are going to be spinning your wheels in your life with some people. It's not worth it. It is time for you to move into the timeline where everything you've ever wanted exists. And it only exists that way because you refuse to go back to compliance, doing as you're told, fighting the system all the time within yourself, going to a job that you hate to make the bills, you know, whatever. Going to functions that you do not want to be at. Hanging around people that are nothing but drama, complainers, moaners. They'll tell any old stranger every appointment that they're going to, when, where, how, and what part of the body may or may not be affected by it, how they feel about it, how they're annoyed about it, which doctor it is, which hospital it is, and you just want to scream, right? When you start doing things that you've been postponing, and you start doing things that you really want to do, and you break through the threshold and do that, when you align with all the things that you say you want to become, it does require a lot of boundary work. And the only way to make that your reality is to do it and fight for yourself as much as you would for anybody else. As I told you before, you might not have seen the video where I talked about I had this problem. I got myself into a problem with my bank in Australia, and it was eating away at me, okay? And it was eating away and eating away. And then, on top of that happening, somebody decided to get services with me, all right? And they gave me a tip and all this stuff, so I got to work on it right away. I thought this was cool, how awesome. Manifested prayers, okay? So this person ended up getting all of this work with me, and I documented, and I always keep documents of all conversations that I have, and all of that, especially after this. So I had it all there in screenshots ready to go. And this person had done it all, had all of the PDFs, had all of the phone calls. The amount of crazy that was going on in this person's life was really scary for them. And so I was really I was invested in helping this person. At the end of the 6 weeks working with this person, they told me that they were going through some kind of issue, some kind of financial issue or something, and they did a chargeback. And so basically said that they said that they didn't make the purchase to me when I had all the proof of them, their name, their address, the credit card, everything, all the work I did with them, everything. It went through a PayPal payment. They used their card, right, on PayPal. Still, it named on PayPal exactly what the charge was for and what it was, and I gave PayPal all of the screenshots and everything that I had to say, no. This person definitely purchased this, and I've been working with this person for the last 6 weeks, right? So PayPal was holding this huge amount of money, right? And it put everything in the red. So I eventually got that sorted out, but this person didn't, they weren't paying me. So I had to pay for all the work that I had done and pay this person's credit card bill, basically, okay? What it did was, my Australian bank account was set up with my PayPal. So I would be paying off my Australian bank account, putting money into it, because some people were still paying me in that way. I had things that were still coming out. I have to pay taxes in Australia and the United States. So, I still had things going on back and forth. So when this went in the red, right, with my PayPal, it took me 3 months to get that sorted out. By the time I got that sorted out, the fees, the charges, the interest, and the line fee for the account itself had just gone through the roof, okay? I started losing my hair over this, okay? So I went through this virus at the end of last year, but I was also going through that, trying to get it all together. There was nothing coming in. There was everything going out. I was, you know, a lot of money over my head. So my hair started to fall, right? And I knew what was going on. So I was like, okay, you know, vitamins, you know, get the massaging going on, all this sort of stuff. But I was feeling really uncomfortable about it, like beyond, okay? But I was also feeling really uncomfortable about wearing a hairpiece or a topper or something like that as well, right? I just was, you know, you just go through this thing. So I made this decision in October where I just went and I just got myself the hair pieces that I wanted. And I'm like, you know what? I'm seeing the girls do it. They're all supportive. It's a wonderful thing. I've had all of this trouble with this. I'm sick to death of hearing the passive aggressive little emails that would come to me saying, oh, you know, your hair's fine and you need to do this. And you know, right? Couldn't go to a hairdresser because that's the first thing that you get told. Not to mention, you know, my hair was ripped out severely in my early 20s, right on the top of my head. And it never, it was an abusive situation, and then my hair kept getting ripped out of my head. I had a big bald patch in the top of my head, you know, when I was young, really young, right? So I've been dealing with this for a long time. So I was happy to have any hair at all, okay? But I'm telling you this because I made the decision to rest my own hair, let it, you know, do whatever it's doing, let it regrow. And I've literally cut it about this short all over, right? It was actually fun. And I'm like, you know, to hell with it. I'm going to wear these hair pieces. I can change my hair every single day if I want to. For the first time in my life, I can wear the styles that I want to wear, and I can feel better about myself. My husband loves it. My son, Corey, he loves it. Like, they just love it. They're so supportive about it, right? But I made this decision. Instead of sitting there making a GoFundMe or, you know, desperately needing, you know, whatever I'm doing, I just made this decision that no one needed to know anything about anything that I was doing, and I was just doing it anyway, right? And, you know, having to move forward with the flame work was also another thing as well, because nothing happened for months and months and months and months and months and months. And again, chew down anything that we had. YouTube, Facebook, everything just continually cutting me off, not allowed to talk, and I've kept going anyway. Because the alternative is, and it was quite a real alternative there for a minute, was to just stop what I'm doing completely and move on to something else. I'll go teach somewhere else. I'll go help at a school. I'll go just continue to write my books. I'll just do something else. I'll work at Walmart, right? Whatever. Because you can't, anybody would have quit by now. And somehow, little bit, or something comes in, or an idea happens, or whatever, to keep going, right? If I continue to live a life where I felt like I had to do whatever society wanted me to do, or whatever my spiritual community thought was best for me, or what they wanted, if I kept on doing readings because everybody loves Becky's readings, and it wasn't where I wanted to be, right, I would have been frustrated and burnt out even further. The fact that I finally said, I'm not having these people do this to me. I'm not wearing myself out like this. I'm doing what I really am passionate about and sharing my knowledge. That's what I'm doing. And if I wear a hairpiece, if I shave my head off, I don't care. This is who I am. Like it or lump it, love me or leave me. It didn't matter anymore for the first time in my life. You know, for the first time in my life. So I am telling you now that even when you get to a point where you seem to have it all and you seem to have all of the answers and you seem to know what you're doing, there's always challenges. It doesn't mean that you're failing. It's like it's saying to you, well, how are you going to deal with this one? And I'm like, the universe is like, well, how are you going to deal with this one then, Becky? What are you going to do now? And I'm just going to go, and dig my heels in and keep going further after I've had an upsetting cry or whatever I'm doing, right? You know, after I've had that, and I say, no way. I'm not letting negativity beat me. I'm not letting anything stop me from exactly where I really know that I'm going. My future self sent the message to me. You're doing this. And this is what happens. And this is what's going on with the earth. And this is what you're teaching. And it's the stuff that you love and you've known all along. Now, here it is. And I can't stop writing. And I know I've got books to write. I did the webinar yesterday. During the webinar, these books fell off of my shelf behind me, my bookshelf, right onto the ground. Bang, 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 bang. I'm sitting here teaching. Bang, bang, bang. You can watch it. If you watch the webinar, you go to my Patreon, and you can see that and all the other webinars as well. 3 hours of training for everybody. 3 hours it was ended up being. Right? It was supposed to be a 90-minute webinar, which is long. But I spoke for 3 hours. And, you know, there it is for $55. Because that's worth it. It's something like you can't ignore. Right? When you do things that aligns with what you're actually wanting to become, i.e., me wanting to become just a teacher, no more being on the phone, no more giving recordings and readings and training and mentoring personally. I want to just train the world. I want to create my publications. I had to set myself up how I mean to finish. Okay, which means that when I'm ready, and it will happen eventually here, all of my personal services won't be there. You'll just be able to catch me once a month on my live or go to my courses. That's it. And that's, you know, thinking like, okay, well, you've been doing this for 35 years. What, you're not going to, you know, okay, how are you going to make any money? What are you going to do? How are you going to live? I don't care. Because the alternative is not what I want to do. It used to be all I wanted to do. I have too much knowledge in my head to sit one-on-one. I have to sit in front of the world and tell you. I have to sit in front of you all in big groups and get you all activated so you can go on and get the next and the next and the next. It needs to be bigger now, you see? Cancel the thing that you're dreading. Stop giving the work that you don't want to give. I have to live the message that I'm giving you. Start that project you keep on postponing, right? Why are you postponing it? Set boundaries. No. The answer is no. And I'm not explaining myself. And that's the end of the story. Other people do it to you, right? Other people do it to you all the time. Notice what happens. Your body starts to relax, okay? What happened when I started and I sat here and I started wearing my hair pieces, right? And I was like, oh my God. And I learned how to do it all and everything that I got to do, right? And it's not even expensive. I am not buying $400 or $500 crowns or anything like this. So I was like, all this nervousness, and in probably 2 days, right, I felt my hair soften, like, oh, you know, like it was just like, oh, I'm so happy, I've got to rest, right? And because I was feeling happy and all of this. And then just, I don't know, 3 days ago maybe, I just was thinking about, like, I'm just going to shave all my hair off underneath here because, you know, I'm wearing my hair pieces anyway. So who gives a hoot, right? I'll start fresh. I'll get rid of all the years of dyeing and all of the stuff that, you know, happens to your hair, right? And I'm telling you this not because I need any sympathy or advice. I'm just telling you it was a massive thing for a woman to do. And it wasn't about not being healed, okay? So let me just tell you that. It's about me not listening. And it got to that point of that high of stress and not saying anything, okay? My internal self was, I'm tough on the outside, but my insides about this money and Australia and what's going on and my kids and just was, you know, whatever. And on top of it, all the other stuff to do, right? On top of it, 6 dogs. On top of it, trying to get them a place where they can have a run, where they don't have to be put in to the shed every night. And we have to move them from the shed to the place to run and back to the shed. And they're fighting and going to the vets, and they're getting all stressed out. And then we're walking and we're training and we're doing. And it goes on and on and on. And in between, you got your own life stuff, right? And in between, I'm trying to move ahead with what I want to do. And in between, hair's falling out, right? In between, someone's telling you that your hair's falling out and being rude as hell, right? When you already know. And that this began so long ago, this internalized anxiety, right? So in order for me to do this, 3 days ago or something, I just went in and I just started hacking all of my hair off underneath all of this, right? And it actually looks cute. I've actually got super, super, super short hair under this. And it is just short and, you know, it's all sticking out. It's kind of rock starish and all of this. But it's micro cut, right? It's not quite a buzz cut. But I might even go there. I don't know. Because it's like the relief I felt from doing that. Even just cutting all the old shit off, right? And starting from that, letting my hair rest, letting my energy move through my body properly, start working on it, whatever. But I'm telling you that even when someone might scoff at wearing a hairpin, oh, who cares? You can't please everybody, right? I just do it and I feel great. I feel so much better. I don't have to worry about anything until my hair grows. Maybe I'll stop, maybe I won't. I don't care, because I do what I want to do. And this is you in your future as well. You know, you bring it back to the reality. People from your past don't recognize this. I had someone say to me, you don't even look the same anymore, you know, as you used to look or whatever. Something's different. Yeah. Me, you know, I'm coming back alive. You finally stopped being this dimmed down version of yourself, right? Something that everybody else was comfortable with. No, you're not going to get pushed around. You're not going to get stepped on or stomped on, right? You're going to be moving forward and bigger and better than anyone, because you don't really care about. It's not so much that you don't care about the opinions of anybody else. You're just literally not in competition with anyone other than what you were yesterday. That's it. And if you can do this, if you can stop over-explaining, if you can recognize when your inner self is going through something, is literally suffering, and you're pretending like, oh, I'm fine. Okay, like I was telling you, my hair, I was suffering. And I'm fine, let's keep going, right? And inside of myself, I was like seeing it as a failure, right? As you would, like there's something going, you know, I'm not in control of what's going on here. This is just happening to me. It's like some people get these massive rashes. I had a huge one on the side of my leg. I've had it since 2023. So 2 years I've had this rash, right? It's gone away now. Why did it start going away? Because I started figuring out what I was doing. I started to really stop ignoring me. My teacher self was speaking to me the whole time. Like, this is going to keep on happening to you until you do what you really want to do and stop worrying about what that means for society or everyone who's depending on readings or whatever. It's all changing. You have to trust that as you step into the thing that you really want to do, that starts working for you. And guess what? it may not work for you immediately. You have to tweak some stuff, right? You'll have to really get some determination within you for this, and you have to commit to it, and then let go, and that's when everything changes. So yeah, open and walk through the doorway. Walk through the next chapter of your life. Do what you really want to do. Understand that it doesn't matter what anybody even thinks. You don't need to hear it. You don't need to know. You don't need their little comment and their little sideways whatever. Start seeing people for what they are. Are they on side or not? Do you have your mirror flame on? Are they stepping in front of it? Are they dim? Are they bright? Like, what is going on here? Who's with you? Who's not? Figure it out. Don't really worry about it anyway, and move on. Because people are going to just suddenly turn around. People I've known for ages have suddenly just gone. Like, poof. You know, people like certain topics. They weren't there. They're not there for this stuff. And that's okay. That's them. That's where they're at, right? That's what they're doing. Whatever. But as you continue to move ahead, this is the place. This is where you're going to get all of the support you need as you move forward. You got to stay in groups that are supportive of what you're doing until you just don't need that support and you're just doing it anyway, right? So your future you has got it all. You're out of the patterns, you're out of the old energy field, you're out of the old circles, you're successful with what you want to do, you're not worried about how and when and who and where and what if it doesn't work, what if, whatever. Listen to yourself from an outside person. You know, listen to yourself and say, oh my God, I really do sound like that. If somebody was listening to me, all they would hear was, but what if and what I've heard so many people throughout all of the years, like, really, really beside themselves with making one decision in their life. Having to know whether they do this, is that going to work? Is this going to be it? Because I can't do any more. I've got to know. You got to decide that it's it. That's the key. Key has always been you. You are the voice of the flame. You are the key to your own destiny. You unlock everything yourself. It's all within you. It's always been there. It's always been the way of it. Okay? More and more and more is coming. Just know that people are fighting a battle that you don't know anything about. That doesn't mean that they are not going to be on side and pushing forward and moving ahead. Just means that sometimes we have to readjust something in our life, make it make sense, make it work for us, and be honest with ourselves the entire way. If not, everything will fall apart. It won't matter how hard you're covering something up, by the way. It will come, and it will come undone, right? So, you walked away from what's killing your light, even while you're shaking and nervous about it. You did this, and that's how you win. I will see you in the next video. Become a part of my Patreon and be a part of these amazing webinars. You don't want to miss all that's coming up. If you missed the Dragonfire webinar Sunday, it's there. It's available on Patreon. It'll be the first little thing that you see in the flame tier. Go do it. You'll love it. It's got heaps of PDFs with it as well. And see what happened live on camera, where everything just fell off my shelf. Like all these books fell off my shelf behind me. So I will talk to you. And an orb came through the screen too while I was talking. Until the next time, sending you many, many blessings from the future and the now. Bye. It's BDevine. Bye for now.